Done? I don't know. But he's like, okay, where's my cup? Where's my cup? Top right hand side, Blue Protoss player is going to be MaxPax. Comes in the top left, our Red Terror from the Shopify Rebellion is ByuN. Why did that monster look like a Red Bull? Absolutely not a Red Bull, it's a beautiful Aussie lemonade monster. Barracks going down initially, so we're going to proxy it up from ByuN here on Ghost River. Short map, by the way, already as it stands. Let's see what goes down. Let's just have a probe gateway coming up for a couple moments. Clavicle gets placed. As you will just see a Reaper in our orbital. Continuing through for a few moments, then it's just getting this up. Nexus on the way. Early stage of this getting established. And the SCV coming across. So, as MaxPax Scout initially, he did not see the barracks here, by the way. Love these guys as well. But look at this, putting their proxies right next to the Monster Energy logo, just allowing us to sell out that little bit extra. Thank you, ByuN. I didn't need the help. I quite clearly had the promos underhand, on hand and underway myself, but that's okay. That's okay. I appreciate ByuN trying to help. He's got my back, you know. Yeah, ByuN was asking for the map list earlier. He was like, hey, I want to prepare. ByuN's always like that. He prepares for everything, man. He wanted to know what potential maps he was going to play. He doesn't even need to think about his vetoes when we get into a series because he already knows which map is going to be vetoed. He already knows what his first, second, third pick is. He's not messing around. He is definitely probably one of the most prepared players when it comes to these map contests. And you can kind of already see just with the placement of the proxy, seeing where the probe runs by naturally and so on. So yeah, already kind of setting you up for success in that regard as this Reaper comes through. A couple probes going to get bopped and blasted around just a little bit. And we've got that Stargate coming up as well here. Battery coming in. Stalker's going to start fighting against the bunker for a few moments. SCV. And take a couple shots and actually SCV does fall as it's trying to leave out the front. So it's going to get knocked down there. Now there's Reaper trying to move into the main base once again. Trying to find a bit of something. Doesn't find too much. Stalker back onto the Reaper. Just going to pick through that and try to clean that up. Two Reapers, the Cyclone continue out into the center of the map here. Let's have ourselves probes currently boosting along and obviously getting a bit more of that economy set up over on the natural. We got the Phoenix coming through, the Warp Gate coming up. Cyclones continue to build right now. CC is still underway in the starport. Just going to swap on over to that tech lab. Just going to get set up over there. Again, that cloak coming up. Cyclone's on the way out. Just getting all of that established for the moment. Continue to bring that Phoenix in. And the barracks is going to go jump on top of the reactor in the next few moments. Going to get into some marine production as a couple Cyclones will be a big part of this game early on. Alongside that Cloak Banshee harassment that ByuN wants to go for. I mean, expect aggression. This map is fairly short to run across, so aggression is going to be the name of the game for a bunch of these players, most likely. Two Reapers, multiple Cyclones, moving out to the front. Head into the upper right-hand side, away they go. How prepared is MaxPax on this natural battery? Couple Stalkers. Double pylons, so you can't just target down a pylon during this to shut everything down, so that's obviously good to note. As again, the Reapers and the Cyclones continue to all join up together. Phoenix actually going to find their way across the map close by air distance, so they get across that quickly as well, so not really too surprising or anything. As again, the Phoenix continue to gather together. Immortal and the Robo base still producing through. The Phoenix is still coming about. Army continues to establish, as you do see the Nexus coming through as well. It's just going to get that Nexus on the go. And yeah, we can get that build up. A few Phoenix at the front again. Marines and Cyclones are there to push the Phoenix back one more time. Still got that Immortal and the Phoenix all coming through. Robot Bay building, Nexus on the way out. And yeah, just going to see our Phoenix continue to produce on in for a couple more moments. This army of ByuN going over to the far right side. And just going to be having ourselves the couple of Reapers getting set up. And Probe's going down. I mean, obviously just fighting on this third base. The tank is too far away to join this fight. The Phoenix is going to lift it, and all of the Cyclones as well. So much of the DPS of ByuN is just taken away. And MaxPax is going to absolutely crush this. This is going to be no problem at all for him. This fight was, I think fair to say, somewhat miscalculated from ByuN. That did not quite go the way I think he really wanted it to at first. So yeah, that didn't quite look as pretty as it maybe should have done. Again, a few more shots off on that assimilator, and just having the Stimpak combat shield. +1 attack upgrade coming by. The Phoenix gonna go. There's that first Banshee dropping down as well. So another Banshee dead, and honestly, this has just been. I mean, he killed probes, right? So ByuN wasn't a complete disaster. He just spent a lot to kill those probes, I guess, is the kind of issue that I'm finding with this. Stim combat and +1 all build up. The extra barracks are on the way. Phoenix will grab one Marauder here that's just up in the skies, and the Bio still coming over. Phoenix still being chased. Well, let's continue to push that off as the Stimpak and combat shields continue in production. We get those upgrades on the way through. Obviously, that's going to empower ByuN in a big way, but until that point, it has been all about MaxPax being able to control and hold these positions and these setups. It's still joining up here. The Bio still moving about. I see another Marine or so going down. The Phoenix will start to take a little bit of damage here too as the missile turret gets involved. So missile turret able to get a little bit there. Phoenix go back up to the upper left-hand side, gonna chill around the back for a little while. Missile turret again, gonna knock away at the Phoenix just a little while. A few more SCVs being picked off, and we do just have this Phoenix force back around the left-hand side. Twilight Council, Gateways, Colossus, and External Thermal Lands all continuing to produce. And all those Phoenix through the south for the moment. The +1 armor and the Ghost all being brought in as well. There's a couple more gases go down on the low ground, get that third base set up. Marines will grab the Observer, knock that down nice and quickly. Yeah, an extra gauge, the +1 on the charge coming through there. And the Bioforce still just gathering. So a few more moments as the Marauders and the armor upgrades will not be far from being done. Phoenix still coming back to the upper left. He's going to fire a few shots. Phoenix taking some damage pretty much straight away. We're just going to be seeing our Bio Army able to get rid of a bunch of those. So again, Phoenix definitely taking some damage. Some shots going down. Drop one EMP out actually, and the Colossi will take some damage off that pretty much immediately. So some damage done, EMP falls into place, and the army of MaxPax is still trying to find a way to get forward that little bit. Prism's still poking around, thinking if it wants to move in. ByuN, of course, with the 1-1 upgrade is going to be a little bit better of a kind of army when it comes to fighting in that regard, but Colossi and their splash is going to go a huge way here as well, so definitely expecting that to be a bit of a factor as well. This army really does just continue through. Continues to fight. A couple of Zealots still taking damage. Next Colossi and the Zealots again, just all going to gather it up for the moment, as we do have shots going out. Deeper will take some hits. Disruptor and the Blink all coming through. Oh, Bioforce gets over there. The SCV just went down. I don't think they targeted the SCV. I assume something else was there, unless that was just a hefty misclick. It's kind of weird because there's not a lot of other ways, like, to get across the map in any other way. Like, I guess you can drop through the top right, but going across the map in other ways feels pretty difficult at the moment. And I guess it's just because the map is so small. To then kind of extend around the bottom feels bad. So these two are really just continuing to kind of fend off in the middle, not really doing too much. It's a good EMP, hits all the Phoenix. We have to split against the Disruptor, which does find a chunk of Marauders. And now dive through and continue to give chase. A couple more shots coming through, a couple Marines going down. Disruptor shot lands for the Marauder right there as well. Vikings going to join back up overhead. Obviously more Vikings, more answers to those Colossi. Good to get rid of those. If you get rid of the Colossi, I guess MaxPax has enough Disruptors he can probably focus on rebuilding Colossi again, so that may not be so much of an issue. Vikings going to get rid of a few of the Phoenix already, so a bit more damage being done. The Bioforce still coming over, Disruptor shots potentially lining up. Now the ByuN stems in, just going to get rid of that Disruptor, still seeing everything else coming by. Force continue to push over here as the Zealots get active onto that mineral line. SCV start to take some heavy damage. Fire comes up, Zealots going down. Still MaxPax pressing on forwards for the moment. MaxPax, with the pullback of ByuN, finally able to get across the map. This is what he wasn't able to do up until this point, so this is a nice change of pace in his mind. As these couple of Zealots just continue through there. The Colossi still setting up. Press the Bio up to the top also. 2 plus 1 chip weapons. Again, a bit of everything on the way right now as our Dark Shrines continue up. We actually have 2 of them, because when ahead, 2 Dark Shrines stop you from being behind. Something, you know, classic Protoss saying. That's in the Protoss Bible. 4th edition, I think it was edited in. The Disruptor shot is gonna be okay initially. Honestly, I think ByuN is just taking a little bit too much damage throughout the course of this entire fight. And that is going to continue to add up. ByuN's army has melted away, has definitely been ripped apart a little bit. As we try and retreat out of here, we try and fall back, but I get the sorry feeling the MaxPax is likely just going to come straight through and kind of crush. That Disruptor shot is obviously only going to aid things. And that is going to be GG's for this first best of 3 game 1. For this first game, I am really... In the top right hand side, our red Protoss player is going to be MaxPax. And in the bottom left, our blue Terran down 1 map is going to be ByuN. Alrighty then. Sacred Isle. In base expand, some slows up, stop and harass into that position a little bit. Definitely one of the factors there. Let's just get a barracks up at the front. We get that on the go. See where things are going to develop over the course of Sacred Isle. This was a pretty just baseline, standard, somewhat boring kind of map when it comes to the... I don't want to say boring, that's very rude of me. It's just like, it's an in-base expand, it's got some slow zones, and immediately that's kind of like, yes, it's unique, but how much do we really love this, you know, the in-base expands? What I do like is a gold mineral wall down into this base, getting into rich Vespene gas, and giving some different options in terms of the expansion pattern. I think that becomes very cool, and these mineral walls to open out into the front as well. That stuff is the stuff I love. The in-base expand that doesn't have much going on. I was talking to Halston about it, and Halston basically said, when was the last time an in-base expand was actually kind of exciting? Well, there's that, you know, the map with the in-base gold is kind of cool, because, you know, that is a little bit different at least. I kind of have to agree, like, when was the last time a map with an in-base expand was genuinely kind of intriguing, honestly? And it's not just to be a blind hater, it does feel like it's maybe been a little while since those maps have really had much to say, because it's kind of just a free expansion. Is that fun? Is that is that entertaining? Yeah, I mean, some people like that. For me personally, I think there's other ways to make maps interesting, so... Stargazers, yeah. Stargazers were kind of wild, though, because Stargazers were not just a normal in-base, right? Stargazers also had the fact that you could mine out the minerals and kind of access it, so... And it was super close by air as well. This is maybe the most vanilla kind of in-base you can get, right? It's cross-map. There's a Reaper hub jump-up spot in there. So... Yeah, this is kind of as vanilla as it gets. And obviously Stargazers didn't get much love either as a map overall, I think, but... Stargazers was... I thought Stargazers was alright. I can understand it wasn't super fun to play on, however. Alrighty, so we do have a single adept just on a move over here for a couple of moments. And everything set up, seeing where we are gonna go for the first few minutes. Yeah, I never want to seem like a hater. I do like all the different maps, and I do, all the different ideas you see are usually very cool. I feel like maybe I'm even biased a little bit against in-base expands, because I've just kind of grown up thinking, well, are in-base expands still a thing we really do, right? Oh, yeah, like I say, we'll find out here how it goes. Just going to see our Twilight Council on the gate. The Nexus coming through. The Oracle coming across the map. And that's going to be our setup for the first few minutes here. As we do have the Adept just shading out around over that side. It's just going to make a little bit of a move across that way. The Oracle activates, and a couple of SCVs will start taking some hits. But the Marines are there to push back a little bit as well. So doing a decent job of that again. Just hurting the opponent where we can. And the few Marines still just fighting against the initial Adept that was out here as well. Oracle going to activate, and we see the Oracle going to get punched back a little bit. Also, it's going to come all the way back over this direction for the moment. Stimpack on the way from ByuN. So ByuN defending well initially. Both of them have their in-base expansion. MaxPax already going to the third base as well. Get that on the go. Get that on the go. Don't forget, guys, TLMC does decide winners as well. I believe we still have public voting, which will be coming up at some stage. So keep your eyes on TL.net for that. And do vote. Obviously, support the map makers. If you enjoy their maps, give them a vote. It's probably one of the best things you can do for them. You know, it's really this is it for map makers, right? This is the big deal. This is the top of the pops, I guess. So, yeah, if you can take a moment to vote when public voting opens, make sure you do so. We'll be talking about on my stream when public voting opens as well. And make sure you take notes during these tournament days to which maps you might like. No point going into public voting and being like, wait, which map was the cool one with the healing zone that never got used? You know? Combat shield, concussive shells, +1 attack, all on the way in production for the moment. We do see the few Marines going to come forward. They're going to stem after a few of those Stalkers. Actually going to get quite a few of those Stalkers. A lot of Stalkers just continue to go down. Marines absolutely crushing it right there. They are going to love that fight. Coming out of that, they should feel pretty darn good. ByuN pushing MaxPax away up to this top side. A little acceleration zone with the line of sight blocker too might, on a rare occasion, provide some entertainment. I like the idea of that. It's not the kind of thing that's likely to come into play every time, but every now and again, you might see that actually become kind of a cool little something, so I kind of like it. It's kind of neat. Stalkers still are going to press on forward, and they're just going to be met by this bio army, which is going to push the Stalkers back a little further. The gate's still coming through, charging +1 attack upgrades on the way through as well. And this bio's still working around that far right-hand side. See, far left-hand side, just to fight off anything that MaxPax is trying to bring into this battle. MaxPax is pretty persistent so far. He really has continued to bring his units across and just try to find openings, try and find fights, try and find battles repeatedly as of late. The bio still joins up, and two medevacs are actually going to launch their way up to the top side of the map. Well, slow zones will slow down the drop in here. Which is, you know, maybe one of the weaknesses of an in-base, which is that usually kind of is weak to drops and it is weak by air, so the slow zones are meant to kind of make that a little bit more committed, because now if you try and retreating away is going to be slower. It's more likely that you get punished for making a move like this as ByuN. Wouldn't mind goes off, a couple Stalkers go down. ByuN able to come through there pretty swiftly and deal with that attack. It does feel like ByuN is taking very good control of this game. It feels like he's really grasping, again, at the lead, and making it difficult for MaxPax to really stand up and fight back too much. Royals continue to come around. Still sits chilling out on the map then. The Medivacs, the Marine Marauder, the +1 armor all continues to come into play right now. It's just bringing a little bit of everything on the way up. So the Stalker's going to grab a Medivac. Nice little catch on those. Always good to grab that nice and quickly. As the Command Center continues in on the far left side as well. So we continue to bring that through for the moment. Just something extra right here. Let's do attack, couple of probes, maybe shield battery continues to come into play. And just everything is currently being established, as we do have a Bioforce going to get rid of the Zealot there. Wouldn't mind says bye-bye Prism. I mean, obviously just means that ByuN has to worry less about attacks for a little bit as well. He's going to launch his way onto the map again. Has a little drop already poised to maybe come in, try and get something done. So keep our eyes out for that. See if that can indeed be a success. So just pushing up, and the Stalker's going to get pushed away. It's going to be, again, a kind of excitement for the moment as we just have ByuN continue to push straight on through. Actually going to commit pretty hard moving forwards here, and we are going to go dive onto this Protoss army. Looks like ByuN just believes and absolutely seems to know that he's got enough right now, so over he goes, looking absolutely great. I think fair to say that this one is probably coming to a close fairly soon. I don't think there's much else to really add on than that. I mean, ByuN just wiped out MaxPax's army. It's going to be difficult to rebuild all the tech here as MaxPax that you realistically need to be in an okay spot, so yeah, that's going to be looking pretty rough in general. Medivac's still coming over. Zealot Stalker still hanging out. The Wouldn't Mind still blowing up a little bit here and there as well. Firefly's dropping in the center. Need to come about. Just going to be starting to move on to the other side. You have, again, just this constant push from ByuN. Why give MaxPax a chance to rebuild? Why give him the moments he needs to get back into this? There's just no need. Pulses continue to go down. Super battery still coming about. This really does feel as though we are on the way to closing things as the Medivac army, the drop ships head over to the left. Again, it's just going to be ByuN trying to continue to poke holes in the armor of MaxPax right now. That is his plan. That is his goal. That's what he is hoping to get done. More shots just come through there. You are going to be seeing the ByuN still working on the right-hand side again in the natural expansion on the in-base. We sit, we fight, we fire. Again, damage really does just keep on adding up. And as the Colossi are going to get EMP'd. ByuN still pressing forward from that in-base. There's a couple of units still on the low ground as well, so they continue to just, again, sit there and see what exactly it is they can get up to. And so far, still really just not a lot. You have one more Colossus going down. Gets picked off as well. Still got +3 attack, +1 armor being brought up for the moment. So Stalker just going to get rid of the Medivac. Just going to pick that off nice and easy. Jesus, MaxPax. And we get to go to game 3. Hell yeah. All right, MaxPax. I'll get your decoration tied up and ready to go on after this game. As for the moment, we have in the bottom left-hand corner the red Protoss player. This is MaxPax from Systorm Gaming. He takes on, in the top right side of the map, the blue Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Tied up 1-1 in this best of 3 series in today's TLMC. Well, you know, things really got very exciting, of course. If man had taken out Dark, this group really would have already been turning upside down. That didn't quite end up happening in the end. So that was not maybe as much of a factor as it could have been, but... And that would have been really wild, right? That could have actually been crazy. And it takes out Dark. This is such a competitive group as it stands. That could have just been the end of Dark, unless he then showed up against ByuN and MaxPax, of course. We'll be having Dark versus ByuN coming up next, then Dark on MaxPax happens as our 5th or 6th series today, depending on which order we do things in. This is, of course, just series number 3. Plenty of games still to come throughout the course of today's games, guys. So, plenty of StarCraft happening, plenty going on. Very exciting times. Very exciting times. Just gonna see our probe sneaking up into the main for a little bit of a, again, look-see as to what's up. Just check what's happening, see what's happening, see what's taking place for a few moments. Factory coming up, reactor on the way. Just seeing our Nexus on the way as well, and that natural expansion, so we continue to get that on the go. It'll be interesting to see if anyone does try and play with the gold at any point. I think it's very dangerous in TvP. I think very realistically on both sides in TvP, you just have someone who is really not going to... both players don't really enjoy having a gold that sticks outward like this. Maybe you just take it much later in the game with the Rich Vespene gas, because it's just so harassable before now, right? Like, it just becomes way too harassable, and I think that becomes way too much of a problem, so I think good to just sort of stay clear of that, stay away whenever possible. I think it's not a bad call. Let's play a bit more standard, then, like I say, take that gold later on. I think against Zerg it's good, because if the Zerg's going to harass it, they're going to have to commit to Roaches, and if they commit Roaches over there, you can very easily then avoid Roaches. You know, the Roaches are never going to quite get towards your main base or anything, right? So then I actually think it's very neat. Then I actually think it's very cool. So maybe this is a good... Yeah, like I say, I was talking to Hossman. Hossman really said, like, this is a gold base that actually feels good for Protoss, and not a Zerg gold base. And oftentimes, obviously, gold bases all kind of related to Zergs taking them, and expected that Zergs are going to take them, because, yeah, Zergs can just take them early. They can really utilize them from the start. That's something that Zergs are very well known for generally, so... Kinda cool. Kinda cool. Oh, ByuN doesn't listen to my advice. He's just gonna take the gold base. MaxPax is immediately putting a pylon nearby. I mean, I guess as a Terran, at least you can just lift it off and take it elsewhere if if your opponent really does commit to trying to deal damage to it. I just feel like this is such a guaranteed case of, yeah, you're absolutely going to take damage, right? Like, there's just no way. You got to commit something here to try and stop this. Surely we got to try and do a little bit of something. So I guess we will see. As the Phoenix continue to lift back up, get a bit more done. Twilight Council heading on up as well. Scan that Twilight Council into play. Probe still building. Adept on the way. Cyclone producing. A couple more Marines coming out as well, so a little bit of everything coming by for the moment here. I don't mind drop heads into the main base. I'm just going to see a few probes already evacuating away from that, so just trying to stay safe as the Widowmine goes off. Well, not too much. Now going to get into this mineral line as well. MaxPax again is paying attention, even now has the Phoenix to maybe start lifting. One Widowmine still available there, so we'll keep our eyes on that. As those few Adepts just going to sit on the other side of that goal, but with the Cyclone, you can defend this pretty aptly, I suppose. Adepts are nice, but I wonder if Stalkers would have been better. The 3 Adepts together will get 1 SCV. Again, ByuN is forced off of that mineral line, even just for a few moments, right? This adds up. And that's got to be the question mark of, is it worth losing that mining time consistently when you're on this base? Would it have just been better to, you know, approach this in a different way? Like I say, ByuN is forcing lost mining time as well. He's continuing to do decently in that regard on the other side. Just have ourselves a little bit of a fight through here now as ByuN actually tries to drop across to try and deal damage there and trying to clean this up. Just have the Phoenix there to deal some damage as well, and they will get some SCVs. You can also see the gold base, though, is back to mine, and now ByuN gets rid of the pylon, so the harassment in that position is dealt with. The problem is somewhat solved, like I say, for the moment. Momentarily, this is maybe going to settle down and not be as much of an issue. Let's continue up, so we are going to see just Phoenix charge lots. Pretty popular way of playing. I'm actually not sure how much I love that right now, though, as ByuN pushes forward. These Zealots are all slow. There's nothing to really support. ByuN isn't going to believe too much in going forward, but man, this feels as though it could have been very bad for our Protoss player. I feel like he's gotten away with that a little bit, honestly, MaxPax. I think he's gotten away with a little bit of a better scenario than maybe he should have done. Phoenix come back over, Marine Cyclone still on the map, Zealots and Charge still coming through as well. Forge is about to finish, Robo Facility continues up, and the Oracle shows up, gonna get rid of 1, 2 SCVs pretty much straight away. Zealot Phoenix still pushing across, Oracle is still activating for a little bit extra right now. Phoenix activate, Viking goes down. The Zealots continue over, ready to run into this for a low ground expansion. Robo Facility over halfway done. The Phoenix still producing through. And this is where the charge actually can become quite good. I love those depots going down, just trying to help soak up the position a little bit, choke it up, and just make it difficult. That SimCity can actually go such a long way to being successful. Force field on the ramp is nice. ByuN doesn't have too many SCVs in the low ground. Obviously still has a lot of his SCVs on the in base, so not as much of a problem there as you might think it is. And those gates just continue out as well. Robobay also being produced here. With the Robobay coming up, MaxPax will get better access to his next stage of the game, which is going to be obviously some tech and some AoE, so we'll see if that is going to help him out. It does feel like ByuN, just because he's had that gold, he's been able to shut down the harass pretty aptly. Just taking a little bit of an edge initially. Obviously, do remember the gold will mine out quickly. Once that gold mines out, it'll be an easier access point to harass into the base as MaxPax. And ByuN will have to push towards another base a little bit sooner than he might have had to otherwise. We'll see if that becomes an issue. That said, obviously worth noting in that situation, even if you do have to push towards another base, that would have had to have been your third anyways. It's still going to be later than you would have taken a third, right? Because it's going to be like kind of a 3.5 base in terms of timing. It's kind of like between when you take a third and when you take a fourth. So it shouldn't be that much of an issue. It's just something to keep in mind. ByuN is moving onto the map with a pretty monstrous army. Extended Thermal Lance has started, but that Robot Bay has not been up long enough to even start a Colossus apparently, so 18 Zealots, 5 Phoenix, some of them harass, and if ByuN just strikes on the other side, I do not know if there is anywhere near enough to take this battle. Welcome Roddy and everyone from Roddy's stream. Hope you guys are doing great. We're watching ByuN look for a 2-1 victory here in the map contest tournament over MaxPax. As he stims on in, he's going to stim, he's going to win. And I think he's dealing with the harass very aptly as well. The fourth of MaxPax is going to stand absolutely zero chance at all. That goes down without issue. Yeah, I think that is going to be very convincing here from ByuN. One Colossus out might make it so that this does not end right here. This might go on a little bit further. Maybe seeing the Colossus, the Zealot still trying to come through. As we fire a few more shots. We might indeed push this back, but again, overall, ByuN is going to reinforce with a whole lot more than MaxPax is. And again, that gold base in the in-base, boosting his economy. He's not mined from it just yet, so kind of resetting from some of the harassment that's been going on, but otherwise has that open to him and has been able to do very well. This is best of 3, guys. If you just joined us, we have 3 best of 3s after this as well. ByuN MaxPax, Dark MaxPax, and Mana versus ByuN also. So you're joining us just about halfway through today's TLMC group. Still, like I say, plenty of action on the way as we test out the new maps from the TLMC, the Team Liquid map contest, sponsored by Monster Energy. Phoenix come over and they pick up a few more of these Marines, and we do have the Bio still simming it up, moving on forward, trying to run up towards this high ground here. A little bit of Bio coming around. We got ourselves 2-2 upgrades, the Viking coming through, the +2 attack and +1 armor, all continuing to build. This Bio gets back through the center of the map, back over that far right-hand side. Temple Archives already building as well, as we just have... Wait. I mean, choices of Max. I mean, he's given himself options, he's given himself ways to stay in this. Credit to him, I did not necessarily think he was going to have much opportunity. Of course, MaxPax is not a quitter. And he believes a little bit more than I do, apparently. So he's going to stay in. He's going to try do this as long as he can. We'll see how successful that can turn out to be. Thank you very much. First port for the big resub. Welcome back. Wurzak for the big resub on the Prime as the Prism goes down. No harassment for you, MaxPax. Denied. Ben could push top left base from here as well. Also, thank you so much, Akko SC2. 5 gifted subs to Cynicale, Mist74, Gunjammer, Puzzle Z6, and Takabana Kardasla. Thank you so much for the generosity. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Hope you're all doing great. Thank you so much for the support. I will get people on the tree and stuff after this. As our Bio continues to push across, ByuN absolutely looking to be in a bit of a killer motion right here, right now. But this is where we're at. We're currently going to just have to watch from Indy's stream because I just resumed the game, which is all good, it's whatever. So, not sure what happened in the last couple of minutes. I mean, MaxPax is maxed out, so that's absolutely something. There's one big thing at least, is the Vikings continue to chase down a Colossus. Just gonna be able to grab that. A few Phoenix showing up as well. There's Bio Army. I mean, ByuN has been in control throughout from what we've seen. Obviously, that was very much so the case when we left as well, when we crashed out a little bit. About 3-4 minutes ago, I think it was, as we just have this Bioforce coming up the ramp. It looks as though ByuN is still very much so in control. The supply of MaxPax there actually just really melted hard the last few moments where we just tuned in. That's going to be GG's. ByuN 2, MaxPax 1, and that is going to be that as simple as that.